The year was 52 BC. It was a time of great turmoil and unrest in the ancient world. Rome's iron grip on Gaul was tightening. The Roman legions, with their unmatched discipline and military prowess, were enforcing their rule with an iron fist. Yet the heart of Gaul still burned with the fires of defiance. The Gallic people, known for their fierce independence and warrior spirit, were not easily subdued. Across the land, tribes chafed under Roman rule. The once free and proud tribes of Gaul found themselves under the yoke of a foreign power, their lands occupied and their traditions threatened. The Gauls, a proud and warlike people, yearned for freedom. Their chieftains, adorned in traditional attire, stood as symbols of resistance and hope for their people. They had tasted victory before. The memories of past triumphs against invaders fueled their desire to reclaim their sovereignty. They believed they could break the Roman chains. The spirit of rebellion was alive, and the warriors of Gaul were ready to fight for their freedom once more. The Romans, led by the ambitious Julius Caesar, were determined to crush this rebellion. Caesar, with his strategic genius and unyielding ambition, saw the conquest of Gaul as a stepping stone to greater power. Caesar's legions were renowned for their discipline and efficiency. These soldiers, hardened by years of campaigning, were a formidable force on the battlefield. They had subdued much of Gaul already. The Roman conquests had spread across the region, leaving a trail of subjugated tribes and conquered lands. However, they would soon face an enemy unlike any they had encountered before. A new leader was rising among the Gauls, one who would unite the tribes and challenge Rome's dominance. A leader who would unite the fractious Gallic tribes and challenge the might of Rome itself. This uprising would go down in history as a testament to the indomitable spirit of the Gauls and their relentless pursuit of freedom. From the heart of Gaul emerged a charismatic leader, Vercingetorix. A chieftain of the Arverni tribe, he possessed a keen mind and a warrior's spirit. Vercingetorix understood the only way to defeat Rome was through unity. He traveled from tribe to tribe, appealing to their shared heritage and their burning desire for freedom. His words ignited a firestorm of rebellion. Tribes that had long been enemies set aside their differences. They rallied under Vercingetorix's banner, their swords raised against a common enemy. He instilled in them a newfound sense of purpose and a belief that they could defeat the seemingly invincible Roman legions. News of the Gallic uprising reached Caesar, who was campaigning elsewhere. Recognizing the severity of the threat, he acted swiftly. He marched his legions towards the heart of the rebellion, determined to crush this unexpected challenge to Roman authority. His target, Alesia, a hilltop fortress where Vercingetorix and his forces had gathered. Caesar's arrival sent a chill through the hearts of the Gauls within Alesia's walls. They knew a formidable enemy approached, yet their spirits remained high. They had faith in Vercingetorix's leadership and the strength of their combined forces. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of Gaul. Caesar, a master of siege warfare, surveyed the landscape around Alesia. He devised a plan of breathtaking audacity. He would not only besiege Alesia, but also construct a second line of fortifications around his own army. This would trap the Gauls within and prevent any relief force from reaching them. Roman engineers, renowned throughout the ancient world, set to work. They felled trees, dug trenches, and erected ramparts with astonishing speed. Within weeks, a formidable double ring of fortifications encircled Alesia. The Gauls were trapped, caught between the walls of their fortress and the impenetrable lines of Caesar's legions. The siege of Alesia had begun. Caesar's legions, positioned in their fortified camps, controlled all access to the besieged town. Food and supplies within Alesia began to dwindle. The Gauls, facing starvation, grew desperate. Vercingetorix, ever resourceful, devised a daring plan. He would send out a desperate plea for help, a call to arms that echoed throughout Gaul. His message reached the Gallic tribes. They responded with a ferocity that surprised even the battle-hardened Roman veterans. A massive Gallic relief force, assembled from across the land, marched towards Alesia. Their objective, to break through Caesar's lines and relieve their trapped brethren. A glimmer of hope, the Gallic relief force. The arrival of the Gallic relief force breathed new life into the defenders of Alesia. They watched from the hilltop as their kinsmen clashed with Caesar's legions. The fighting was fierce and bloody. The Gauls, fueled by desperation and courage, fought with the fury of cornered wolves. For a brief moment it seemed the Gallic relief force might succeed. They pressed against the Roman lines with unrelenting force. Caesar, facing a crisis, rallied his legions. He personally rode into the heart of the battle, inspiring his men with his courage and determination. The final assault, Vercingetorix's last stand. Sensing an opportunity, Vercingetorix ordered his warriors to attack from within Alesia. They surged out of the fortress, throwing themselves against the inner ring of Roman fortifications. The Gauls fought with the courage born of desperation, but they were ultimately outnumbered and outmatched. Caesar's legions, hardened by years of warfare, withstood the onslaught. They repulsed both the internal attack from Alesia and the external assault of the relief force. The Gallic warriors, exhausted and demoralized, were forced to retreat. Their hopes of victory shattered against the unyielding wall of Roman might. Surrender and its aftermath, the fall of a hero, the rise of an empire. The story of Vercingetorix and the Battle of Alesia is one of valor, strategy, and ultimate sacrifice. The Battle of Alesia was over. The once mighty Gallic forces lay in ruins, their hopes dashed against the relentless might of the Roman legions. The Gallic relief force, defeated and scattered, retreated into the depths of Gaul. Their dreams of liberation were now but whispers in the wind, carried away by the tides of war. Within Alesia, Vercingetorix faced a bitter truth. Further resistance was futile. The walls that once promised protection now felt like a cage, trapping the spirit of a once proud leader. To spare his people from further suffering, he made a decision that would forever etch his name in the annals of history. He chose to surrender. Not out of cowardice, but out of a deep sense of responsibility and love for his people. He donned his finest armor, mounted his war horse, and rode out of Alesia's gates. Each step of his horse echoed the weight of his decision, a decision that would change the course of history. He approached Caesar, who watched from his command post. The Roman general, a figure of immense power and ambition, stood ready to accept the surrender of his formidable foe. In an act of both defiance and submission, Vercingetorix surrendered, offering his sword to the victorious Roman general. This moment was a poignant blend of pride and humility, a testament to the complex nature of leadership and honor. Thus ended the Gallic resistance, and with it the dream of an independent Gaul. The Roman Empire expanded its borders, and the legacy of Vercingetorix became a symbol of both the fall of a hero and the rise of an empire. The legacy of Alesia, a turning point in history. The siege of Alesia, fought in 52 BC, was a decisive battle that would forever alter the course of European history. It was a clash between the Roman forces led by Julius Caesar and the Gallic tribes united under the leadership of Vercingetorix. This battle was not just a mere confrontation, but a culmination of years of conflict and struggle for dominance. The siege of Alesia was more than just a military victory for Caesar. It was a demonstration of Roman engineering prowess and strategic brilliance. Caesar's forces, though outnumbered, managed to encircle the Gallic stronghold with a complex system of fortifications, effectively trapping Vercingetorix and his men. This feat showcased the discipline and ingenuity of the Roman legions. It was a turning point in the history of both Gaul and Rome. The outcome of this battle had far-reaching consequences. For the Gauls, it marked the end of their resistance against Roman rule. For Rome, it was a significant step towards the expansion of their empire. The victory at Alesia allowed Rome to consolidate its power in the region and paved the way for further conquests. The victory cemented Roman dominance over Gaul, extending their empire to the Rhine and shaping the destiny of Western Europe for centuries to come. The Romanization of Gaul began in earnest, with Roman culture, language, and infrastructure spreading throughout the region. This process of assimilation and integration would leave a lasting legacy on the cultural and social fabric of Europe. It marked the end of Gallic independence and the beginning of Romanization. The Gallic tribes, once fierce and independent, were now subjects of the Roman Empire. Roman laws, customs, and governance structures were imposed, transforming the way of life for the Gallic people. Cities were built, roads were constructed, and trade flourished under Roman rule. The Battle of Alesia also solidified Caesar's reputation as a brilliant military strategist and a ruthless conqueror. His ability to outmaneuver and outthink his opponents became legendary. This victory was a testament to his leadership and tactical acumen, further enhancing his standing among his contemporaries and securing his place in history. His victory over Vercingetorix, a leader who had united the Gallic tribes and challenged Rome's might, further elevated his status in the eyes of the Roman people. Vercingetorix's surrender was a symbolic moment representing the ultimate triumph of Roman civilization over the so-called barbarian tribes. This event was celebrated in Rome and used as a propaganda tool to bolster Caesar's image. It paved the way for his eventual ascension to the pinnacle of Roman power, marking the beginning of the end for the Roman Republic and the dawn of the Roman Empire. Caesar's successes in Gaul and his subsequent political maneuvers would lead to his appointment as dictator for life. This shift in power dynamics set the stage for the rise of the Roman Empire, a new era that would dominate the ancient world for centuries. Please subscribe and like for more content.